Welcome to Big Bad Beautiful Brains. I'm James. Since I was diagnosed at the age of 45 with autism and ADHD, I've been on a journey not only to discover how my brain works and how to look after myself, but also about other people's brains and how they look after theirs. I'll be speaking to people from all different backgrounds, all different ages, and all different experiences to understand how they think and how their big, bad, beautiful brains work. Hello again, everyone. Hope you're doing well and things are fine and dandy with you. This week, on the latest episode of Big Bad Beautiful Brains, I'm talking to Kasey Brown. Kasey is an author, originally from Hertfordshire and now settled in Suffolk. She was diagnosed with ADHD in her late 20s, and her neurodivergence is woven into her perspective and writing. Her debut book, What Will It Take?, explores themes of abuse, grief, trauma, alcoholism, and neurodivergence, offering an honest look at some of life's hardest experiences. Really enjoyed my chat with Kasey. We talked for a fair while kind of before and after the recording as well, and they were kind of really great in-depth conversations, and it was really good to learn from her some of the ways that she has coping mechanisms and other ways that she kind of uses her way of communicating with people and her way of interacting with people to kind of bring some joy into how she works with them, whether she's working at the local bottle shop or whether she's interacting with people when talking about her book, kind of using her neurodivergence as a way to think on her feet, be reactive, and find ways that might surprise and delight people. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and here's our chat with Kasey. Kasey, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm not too bad at all, thank you. Thanks for coming to my little studio and having a chat with me.
You're welcome. It's nice in here. There's lots of things to look at.
I know it's maybe my third brain is where everything else spills out, where I can't find a home for it, and it usually ends up on the shelves behind you, which is a kind of fantastic collection of absolute chaos.
All of the things.
All of the things.
Yes, nice.
So let's have a chat. We'll ask you the questions that I ask guests every week, and we'll see what comes out of your brain.
Cool.
Okay, so what's a song or a sound that's been stuck in your head recently?
So, I mean, what's been stuck in my head probably for about 20 years is that song, I think it's called Freed from Desire.
Okay.
And I probably sing that.
I'm not going to sing it because I'm a terrible singer, but is that like the dance track?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
know the one.
I think I sing that about 40 times a day. So that's the one that's very much prevalent.
That's a
kind
well
of
embedded.
Always.
That's a well embedded earworm.
Yeah, it's in there. I don't think that'll ever go.
And has there ever been anything that you think's going to runs the risk of replacing it, or is that kind of so in there that that's your kind of almost like it's almost like a filler word, but for when you're maybe concentrating on something, or you're excited about something, or nervous about something, that song comes out as by way of kind of communicating how you're feeling.
Yeah. So every now and then, and I have no idea why it's these two songs, but Vienna by Billy Joel will sort of take place.
Okay.
But that'll only be for maybe a day
and then
or two.
Free from Desire
and
will
then
come flooding back in.
It will swoop back in, yeah.
Okay, that's the couple of other guests I've had. One had machinery noises that was kind of stuck in their head because their office was just over the way, and that was the kind of thing that was stuck in their head.
Yeah.
And other ones would kind of change now and again and be their 2-week info dump. And I think it's really interesting how the brain can hook onto something and use it as a kind of like an anchor, really, to kind of come back to and find familiarity. Awesome. Okay. I know the song is now in my head, so I'm going to spend the rest of this podcast kind of humming it in my head and trying desperately not to let it come out.
Yeah, so
no one needs to hear my singing. Okay, what's something you've been curious about lately?
Oh, everything. All of the things. I think probably at the moment the number one thing, I've just watched Staircase on Netflix.
Okay.
So I'm going the morbid route a bit, but have you seen that?
That's the one about that's the kind of true life documentary.
Yeah.
About the guy who did or didn't push his wife down the stairs.
That's the one.
I know the one you mean.
I finished that, and then I obviously went on Google and started looking at all of the things and all of the theories. And there's a theory about, it's called the owl theory, where actually she wasn't pushed down the stairs, she was attacked by an owl.
Right.
And things that they left out of the documentary, which, spoiler alert, but there were feathers and like bits of a bird of prey's talons in her scalp.
Oh,
so
wow.
it was very much like she had been attacked by a bird.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I've been looking into that. Being nerdy.
I'm exactly the same with TV shows. I'm currently penultimate episode of Alien Earth, but then I have to I watch the episode a couple of times because the first time I'm probably not paying attention.
Yeah.
And then after that, I will then go to like Heavy Spoilers or Screen Crush on YouTube and then work out kind of what they spotted and the bits that I maybe missed or the kind of connections to the wider universe. And it is like, if I enjoy something, that's a really good sign of, that's a really good indicator of how much I enjoyed it. Yeah. Because I want to go out and find more and kind of deep dive a little bit further than perhaps the Netflix show or whatever platform it's on has given me.
Yeah.
It can be kind of, you have to keep it in check.
Yes.
Because you will kind of suddenly become an expert on owl attacks.
Yeah. Yes. I think I'm about maybe 80% of the way there.
Okay.
I feel like I am, like people could come to me and I could help them solve cases now. Yeah. Exactly. Maybe that would be the side hustle.
I like it. If you had a way to describe, if you had 3 words, if you were given 3 words to describe how your brain works, what 3 words would you use?
I would say all of it. And by all of it, I mean all of it, all the time, constantly. It's just a scramble up there most of the time, most of the days. There are very few things that I can do that allow me to sort of function on a very even keel. Luckily, my job is one of them. First job really that I've ever been able to just be able to do my job, and I love it, and it's just a nice normal experience rather than the chaos. So I'm very, very thankful for my job.
Okay, yeah, all of it's an interesting one. Is I think with particularly busy minds is and the people that kind of don't have busy minds, it's very hard to describe quite how much of an information fire hose your brain can be. And I don't know a way that they've kind of had simulators for people to, without neurodivergence, to kind of immerse themselves in, but it's actually just kind of lots of people talking at once and like a walk around a shopping centre with a very loud entertainment machine in the corner. But that still doesn't really sum up quite how loud it can be. And it's not just voices, it's not just thoughts about things that have happened or that are going to happen. It's kind of everything at once and all at the same volume.
Or just all of it.
All of it. So all of it is like, love that one. That's a fantastic way to describe it because it is just kind of like everything is on and filtering out what's irrelevant or unimportant at that time compared to what might be important at that time, compared to just stopping and switching off is kind of very hard. It can be fantastic if you're creatively minded or writing or creating music or art or problem solving to have that skill set. But it'd be nice to be able to kind of, when you put your pen down, that the thinking stops as well.
That would be lovely, yeah. Not quite realistic.
No, absolutely.
It would be lovely.
It's starting to, it's learning how to kind of work with that slightly chaotic tool and make the most of it and then look after yourself when it's not being quite as useful.
Yeah. The adapting to the noise is important but tricky.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's something you're still figuring out amongst all of it?
I would say I think I've definitely got better at it, but I would say the masking side of things.
Okay.
When to mask, when not to mask, what my masking actually looks like, I was diagnosed with ADHD 6 years ago.
Okay.
So I was, how old was I? 20, I think I was 26.
Okay.
Ish. And so I've gone 26 years of trying to adapt and trying to think what on earth is going on. And learning these masking behaviours, but not knowing that it was masking. Now I'm almost trying to unpick 26 years worth of, I know, blanket, let's say, that I've threaded along.
Many blankets.
Many blankets. And so, yeah, it's difficult. And there's definitely people that I know I don't ever need to mask around.
Mm-hmm.
But it's finding that balance, I think. And, you know, sometimes I'm at work for 12 hours and that's 12 hours of masking. And then by the time I'm home, the blanket is pushed to one side and I'm just full on. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting to see the night time, like once I'm home, how it all comes out. Because I don't even realise I'm masking.
Yeah.
But there is a definite differentiation between when I'm at work and when I'm at home, for sure.
And it's the hard thing about masking and having to unravel it all in particular is kind of finding the real you, and sometimes that it is allowing yourself to, when it feels like you've had enough of doing the masking, of just going like I'm going to stop because it's unhealthy, and it's actually causing me more harm than not masking.
Yeah.
And it's just trying to find that space to pause and check in with yourself. That can sometimes be the hard thing to starting to unpick, is kind of, there's the real me under all of these blankets somewhere, but I need to stop and think about how that works and where I am actually really comfortable with people or in the workplace or just socializing. Okay. What's something about everyday life that's easy for you but hard for others, or the other way around?
I think what's easy for me, and I've always kind of recognised this, is that I can be given a list of 100 things and I'm on it. I will get those 100 things done in a day. If I'm given a list of 2 things, however, then I am standstill. And I think that's because my brain works best with the chaos, because it's always on the go.
The sense of urgency kind of makes things happen.
Yeah. So with my job, for example, I'm very busy. I run the unit. I do the socials. I do the staff stuff. I train them. I do, stock and everything. The socials aspect is, like almost like a job by itself, but it's never overwhelming. But if I have a quiet day, where, let's say, I say a quiet day, it's a busy day, so all I do is serve people, that can be sometimes a little bit of a struggle because I'm only doing one thing. So yeah, the ability, I think, to handle and juggle lots of things at once is just nothing.
Yeah. And do you find it, if someone says to you, okay, here's a list of tasks, but get around to it when you feel like it, do you find that impossible to know where to start because you have that sense of urgency is taken away and you're kind of given the sense of the busyness and the need to get something done because there's no deadline? You don't know where to you feel kind of directionless.
I guess who is asking me to do the things. Okay. But with that, the get round to it when you can. If it's a long list, that's almost like a challenge then.
Oh, okay.
So then it becomes quicker.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's my need for praise. I don't know. But so okay, I've got 200 things here to do. Okay, give me an hour. But yeah, maybe it is dependent on the person. But yeah, I think I would see that as more of a challenge than a issue. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Have you found any approaches that make the world better for you?
I think trust is a huge one. And not necessarily processes, but just being allowed to be a person.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you say that you've got ADHD, or you say that you've got autism, or, with some people both, or, the whole plethora of things that you can say,
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of judgment out there still.
Yeah.
Thankfully, with the current job that I'm in, there is just nothing. It's just like I've said, my name's Kasey. There's just no judgment at all. I have had jobs in the past where there has been a horrible, horrible amount of judgment. So just being able to be trusted to do a job,
Yep,
is, I think, the best process that any workplace, any people, any, in a relationship, just being trusted that you are just a normal functioning human that may be a little bit different every now and then.
Yeah.
Is the best way to sort of go about it.
Yeah, I think it's really powerful for employers to be employers, or social groups, or workplaces, or anywhere really, to be aware of neurodiversity, but not pigeonhole it.
Mm-hmm.
And try and create an inclusive environment for everybody, rather than kind of go, okay, well, this is the strategy for people with ADHD, and here's the strategy for people with autism, and here's the strategy for everybody else. Or the worst of scenarios of calling it for the normal people who work here. But actually to create an environment, like you say, where people just feel comfortable being themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and to be a trusted, valued member of the workforce.
Yeah.
Everything else after that is kind of secondary. But if you can try and create an environment for people which is welcoming, adaptive,
Mm-hmm.
And gives people the space they need to do what they need to do,
Yeah.
I think it's super powerful.
Yeah, definitely. And I think sort of my experience in workplaces with people with ADHD and autism and whatever, is that actually, because of the stigma and the judgment that we face, I feel like I actually have to work harder. So I'm maybe sometimes a better employee than potentially other people. So that, I think, is important to acknowledge as well, is that actually I've always felt going into jobs that I've got something that I really, really need to prove. But being able to be given the freedom of a non-judgmental workplace has even probably tripled that, because I now know that I'm in a safe space, so I can do even more. So it really does, it's got such benefits for me, but for the workplace as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's a small thing that always makes you smile?
It's a bit random, but my cat.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I say my cat, he's my other half's cat, but he is mine, really. He's my baby. He's just, I think I've always had like a real love for animals. Growing up, at one point, the most pets that we had was 42.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've always been around animals.
So is that mostly cats, or a whole kind of like menagerie of
a bit
creatures?
of everything. We
Okay.
had a couple of dogs, a couple of cats, a couple of birds, ferrets, guinea pigs, rabbits. Had like fish. We only had 5 fish though, so they didn't really add too much to it. But yeah, there was a lot happening. So yeah, I've always found a lot of comfort and peace, I think, just being around animals. I think it's probably that non-judgmental thing again.
Yeah, and just the need to not feel like you need to speak,
Mm-hmm.
I think, as well, as a big thing of just kind of sitting in silence in a space,
Yeah.
and not feeling like there needs to be dialogue and no judgment and that sort of thing. And
Mhm.
it's kind of my 2 dogs, who gave you a ridiculous welcome at the window when you got here, when they're not leaping about all over the place, are just fantastic to have around. And they are, they do it for food probably, but they are really loving pets who just kind of want to be with you.
Yeah.
And it's just being with somebody or being in the space of someone who just wants that, it can be really freeing.
Yeah.
And sometimes kind of animals are the best, can be the best at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Less so with birds and reptiles, I've found, but
No, birds. I love birds.
I've never had a pet bird, so I've probably never experienced it. But
Well, I had a few different pet birds, but the best one, I would say, was we had an African grey parrot.
oh, okay.
And potty mouth. It's absolutely ridiculous. Taught by my mum. But yeah, no, she was really loving, very picky over who she wanted to love. But once she accepted you, it was like a real, almost like an award that you won. But no, I used to sit in the mornings with her and have a cup of tea. She'd have a cup of tea out of her egg cup, not like a full cup of tea. But yeah, it was a real like, you can definitely bond with birds, I would say, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I grew up around cats and then became allergic to cats. So cats aren't really the option. And then got dogs, and dogs are kind of on a different level, I find. Just kind of, I guess, how close they want to be to you can sometimes feel a little overbearing compared to cats, who are kind of just like, sometimes appear to tolerate you rather than want to be around you.
Yeah.
But yeah, never had a dynamic with a bird. So it's maybe I'll get something down here that can
give it a go.
Simulate it. I don't know if I can be trusted to look after a bird though, especially with two lab crosses around trying to eat everything. It's probably not the greatest environment, to be fair.
No, maybe not.
If you had a free day with no plans at all, how would you spend it?
See, I know what I would like to say.
Okay.
Which would be like a day in nature and finding like a forest and just walking around all day. But the reality would probably just to literally do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
A day in front of the TV, sort of brain rot stuff, scrolling through the phone, just doing absolutely nothing. Sometimes I feel like that really helps me process the day or the week that's gone by, and just to sort of almost even out and sort of be okay again. I can balance, yeah. I can get burnt out very quickly. So yeah, just a day of nothing sometimes is just what I need.
I've found that there's more nothingness to be had, especially with kind of ADHD mind and my autism pulling me in different directions as well, is that there's more of nothing to be had, and kind of finding those gaps can be really powerful sometimes. And sometimes like a down day of nothingness is great, and kind of, perhaps like favorite TV show or like a rewatch of something, or doing a puzzle or something like that. But then kind of talking to other people doing this and talking to other people kind of in a wider network is their ways of kind of finding more of nothingness and finding those extra gaps, and kind of using techniques that they've learned over the years to increase those. Is this kind of find more nothing, and really kind of wallow around in those spaces, because they're really powerful. Because if you can find those moments of nothing where your brain can stop, it's really regenerative and kind of re-energizing to just bring balance back.
Yeah.
And especially kind of in an age where everything's trying to advertise to you, someone's trying to get engagement from you in some way, shape or form, whether it's on the rectangle of doom that we all hold in our hands, or whether it's just walking down the road and there's kind of a massive bright LCD billboard sign or something like that, or bus advertising. There's constant noise, and it's trying, and despite what's going on in your head, and it's trying to find those gaps and trying to kind of unearth those things that are really powerful.
Yeah. That I feel the most comfortable I feel probably ever is when I'm quote unquote being lazy, but it's that finding the quiet, the nothingness. I do a lot of yoga and meditation as well now, which I've got into sort of over maybe the last year or so properly. And just having that nothingness is fantastic. And I had my first sound bath about a year ago.
Oh, okay.
And you literally just lay there.
So is that in one of those like isolation baths where they shut the door and it's kind of...
No. So I think you can have some like that, but I had mine, a local company called Yogability, which
Okay.
is in Ipswich, and they're fantastic. And they've got a little studio, so you go in and they have sort of like the sound bowls and gongs and things like that. So you literally just lay there, and all you hear is these sound bowls and the
Okay.
gongs and stuff. But it's so relaxing. And I never thought that my brain would ever be able to shut off, like properly. And I would say I'm probably about 99% there in a sound bath.
Amazing.
It's incredible, yeah.
There's a similar experience, not through sound, but creating those triggering moments, good triggering, not bad triggering moments. I had hypnotherapy for a while, and I found it really useful because it was about kind of resetting a lot of my thought processes and my anxiety. But one of the things he taught me was, while I was kind of being hypnotized, which was awkwardly quick, me being kind of gung-ho about it, going in, going, haha, you can't hypnotize me. And then 15 seconds later, I'm out.
You're gone.
I'm gone. But one of the things he taught me, which I think is a similar thing to around like the prayer bowls and having a grounding noise, is he taught me just to pinch my finger and my thumb and my index finger together if I was feeling anxious or overwhelmed. And it doesn't get rid of it, but it just resets me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think things like with yoga, meditation and that sort of thing, it's a similar thing. There's a process, and you can, the more you get used to the process, or that sound that starts the process, the more you can rely on it to kind of recenter yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is kind of, it's useful for everybody to a certain extent, but with incredibly busy minds, is just having that thing to kind of just remind you to focus on something rather than everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Just being able to take a moment is very underlooked, I think, for people on the norm side of things.
Yeah. And just kind of to step out of the world in any way, shape or form is just kind of super, super useful. There's one track that I use as like an example of kind of where to find the pauses. There's a song by Radiohead called How to Disappear Completely. And there's a bit in it where the orchestra builds and builds and builds and builds. And it's a really good kind of metaphor for how busy my brain can get sometimes and how much is going on and everything's trying to pull in different directions. And the song is actually about dealing with anxiety and overwhelm. And there's a bit in the song where everything suddenly stops and it just plays a single note. And that's the space I want to live in, is the kind of, I know that there's all this noise out there and I know that there's a lot of things that I can't do to switch that off, but I know that I can live in the space after it where that gap is. And just having those routines where it can be a sound or it can be an action or it can just be a gesture that recenters you, I think is just kind of massively powerful.
Yeah. It's almost like finding a safety, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like your panic room.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can do it anywhere, and you can have it, just having maybe have the sound on your phone or somewhere that you can easily go to where you can just pop your headphones in and just have that sound or that familiarity where you can just reground yourself a little bit and without the overwhelm just building up and ignoring it and going, it'll be fine. It's actually, no, just stop and pause and take a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where I forgot where it was. What's something that makes you lose track of time?
I would say probably the thing that makes me lose track of time most is being around family. I find when I'm around family, I'm very in the moment. Usually quite a crazy moment, but still in the moment. And it's just, time just, it absolutely disappears. And I think that probably is because there is, talking about safety, there is that sense of safety there. I'm around people who know what I'm like, know my ways, know my masks and everything like that. And that means, therefore, there is no need for a mask. So I guess it's that freedom to just be. And yeah, I do definitely find myself 5 minutes, an hour can feel like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's probably people, maybe in a wider look at it, talking to people and that connection level.
Yeah, not just small talk, but actual kind of meaningful
No, yeah,
conversation.
I can't deal with small talk. I want to know everything. I want to know what's your traumas. I want to know everything. And I guess that's why I wrote the book. But yeah, I want to know about people, like really about people,
Not the weather.
not the weather. No, I can't stand that.
Yeah, that's why I cut my hair at home, because I can't tolerate the being a prisoner of small talk.
Yeah.
And it is, I find it fascinating how many people are powered by small talk and enjoy that kind of very thin veneer of conversation.
Yeah.
As opposed to actually wanting to get to know someone, and also kind of trying to find meaningful connection rather than the small talk.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can find a meaningful connection and then realize that person's not kind of your cup of tea. But at least you've kind of gone out and both sought that mindset. And I think you can, if you meet people with a similar kind of curiosity and desire to kind of actually know people, you can chat to people like that for absolutely ages.
Yeah.
And as like you say, you can lose. That's when you can really kind of get into a long conversation and suddenly lose track of time, as opposed to the skin peeling awfulness of the weather and did you watch the game at the weekend? And it's just horrifying. It's kind of makes me want to go to my safe space.
Yeah. I'm quite lucky in a way with my job. It's very, I talk to people all day. But it is a lot of small talk. I do try and steer away from the small talk and get it almost like in a middle space.
Yeah.
And I'm quite nosy, actually, so that kind of helps. Like I know what every single one of my regulars do for work, how long they've been there, what their favourite part of their work is, rather than just how do they feel about a rainy day sort of vibe. But other customers who come in also are intrigued by people, and that really is, I've actually made some friends, some really good friends from my workplace, because we've gone past the small talk.
Yeah.
And that is where if you go on a date and you only talk about small talk, I don't think you'll probably meet again.
Yeah.
So it's that. Not that I'm dating all my customers, obviously, but it's going past that annoying bit at the start that I feel the real connection lies.
That feels like where the mask is.
Yeah.
Like the small talk to me just feels like it's performative.
Yeah.
And there's no real kind of, I've found myself numerous times in the past of people asking how I'm doing, and I will tell them how I'm doing, and the look of sheer horror on their face.
Yeah.
With like, I just needed fine. Or good, thanks. And it's like, well, you asked how I was doing, so I'm going to tell you. But I think that sort of genuine connection and that sort of curiosity can actually help businesses do better. In the sales process, or in the kind of customer relations process, or in hospitality, of people just being not performative and genuinely intrigued about how people are doing and how they can make their experience better.
Yeah.
Is kind of, it feels like a no-brainer to a certain extent of we should be getting people like this in, not people who want to kind of do the small talk dance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes when I have a quieter evening at work and there's maybe, one or two couples in and I've done everything that I need to do, we've got board games in work, and I'll just get a board game out and we'll all play. And I've had so many people say to me, you don't get this. Like, you couldn't go to a pub and like a normal pub and get that. You just don't have, or the barmaid sits down with you and you're all playing Guess Who or, Scrabble or whatever. And it's that personal touch that I think is really missing from a lot of places.
Yeah, and the advent of, I use air quotes, AI into workplaces, I think is going in the wrong direction from that.
Yeah.
Is that businesses, any sort of business, need to look at where the point of difference is with the human touch and the little things that make a difference. And it can be the smallest of things, like you say, of kind of like, right, I'm going to get a board game out, we're all going to play now. Of it doesn't need a big marketing plan, it doesn't need a budget spending on it, it just needs a secondhand board game and the desire to have conversations and feel energized by it.
Yeah.
Okay, so last 4 questions. We'll I say these are quick fire, but we can expand on them as much as we want, and but let's see how we go. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Just fucking get on with it. I think people. So that quote is from my mum. She's sadly passed away now. But her philosophy of life was just fucking get on with it. Stop moping. Moping is not gonna help things. And she was a funeral director. So that very much helped that side of things. But you do just have to get on with things. You can't just stop. Like, especially with, there's been times where I've fallen into depression and stuff like that, and my mum's words is what's got me out of it. You just have to keep going.
Yeah, and I think that again, it's around like procrastination, overthinking, catastrophizing, all of that sort of stuff can be the things that get in the way of just fucking get on with it.
Yeah.
And it's not the lack of desire to just fucking get on with it. It can sometimes be my brain is too busy, and it gets in the way. And it can, the self-care part of that, and finding the pauses and creating meaningful relationships where people understand you can get 100 tasks done in a day, but you might need a little bit of recovery time after it. And the measure of having the right headspace to just fucking get on with it can be really, really useful. But it is kind of finding those little moments of peace and finding those ways to recover and look after yourself in the process to be ready to just crack on. Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult to get there, but having those words in the back of my head definitely helped me get there quicker.
Love it. Love it. What's something you're excited to learn or try in the future?
What I really want to learn is how to swim.
Okay.
I can't swim. I did learn when I was a kid, and I learned how to swim on my on my back. And then when it came to learning on my front, I just kept basically drowning. And there was this one time when the instructor just left me for a bit too long, and I was convinced that that was it. I was going to die. And so I just never, that was it. I was probably 8 or 9.
Oh, okay. So that's a fairly kind of early traumatic experience to really give you a resistance to not want to go back to it.
Yeah. And now, if I go on holiday, I don't even dip my toes into the pool.
Okay.
I can't. I'll maybe paddle in the sea, but it just is absolutely petrifying. And like walking across a pier, if I can see through the planks and I see the sea, it's a whole situation. So yeah, learning how to swim would be a good one. And then if I do fall in, at least I can swim.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can strut down a pier with absolute confidence.
Absolutely.
As well. Fantastic. What's one thing you'd like listeners to take away from this conversation?
I would like everyone to take away that even on your worst days, it's just a bad day. There will always be good days. And you can find a good part even in the bad days as well.
Absolutely. There's a fantastic, fairly long quote by I think it was by somebody else, but there's a video of Tom Hanks about this too shall pass. And you can apply that to anything. And even on your worst days, this too shall pass. Even on your best days, this too shall pass. But it will pass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I think it's a really useful thing to keep in mind, that a lot of the bad things that you feel are going on can sometimes be in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say they're imaginary, but they're keeping you stuck in your head while as the rest of the world kind of carries on moving. Yeah. And that kind of does go back to just get the fuck on with it. Mm. But it's also just allowing your brain to sense of forgiveness to a certain extent, of kind of that you're feeling like it. Mm-hmm. Some awareness that it will pass.
Yeah.
And just some learning from how you got to that position and how to protect yourself from it in the future.
Yeah. Understanding yourself is a big part of it, I think. And it definitely helps with, like, I suffer with the rejection sensitivity side of things as well. Every day I'm convinced I'm going to get the sack. And actually listening to that and trying to pinpoint, okay, why do I feel like that? It's come from past traumatic situations. It's got nothing to do with the situation that I'm in now.
Yeah.
The situation that I'm in now has only ever shown me care, understanding. I've got a fantastic boss. So I shouldn't ever be applying that to this situation. No. It's just the trauma that comes up.
And it comes from learning and understanding more about yourself, that the reason you might be feeling like, the reason your emotion, your sense of overwhelm or your sense of rejection sensitivity, and just being a little bit interrogative about it, and going, I'm feeling like this now, and my environment is not my environment that I'm in now that's making me feel like it, and just kind of asking yourself what's causing it. And because sometimes you can be reactive to your mood rather than the space that you're in.
Yeah.
And that can pull you down further rather than kind of let you reflect out of it to a certain extent.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, last question. Mm-hmm. What's next for you?
Wow. So now my book is out.
And what's the title of your book?
It's called What Will It Take? And it's a recount of experiences that I've gone through in my life. It covers all sorts of different topics, but the topic of me having ADHD is in there as well. And so next for me, I mean, I just want to do everything. I want to do absolutely everything. I want to be on the radio. I want to be in newspapers.
Swimming.
I want to be swimming. I want to be swimming everywhere. That'll be my mode of transport. Everything I think is the answer. I just want to do it. I think that the topics in my book aren't spoken about enough. And, one thing that I'm 100% sure that everyone will go through in their life that's in my book is the topic of grief.
Yep.
So therefore, I truly, truly believe that every single person needs to read my book. So it's the case of, how do I get my book to everyone? Every single person on this planet. So yeah, that'll be the thing. But I think starting, locally, I want to be in some bookshops and maybe on the radio and in newspapers and things like that. And then we'll see where we go from there. But I think probably in the next 6 months, I'm 100% I'll be in Hollywood. So
awesome.
Yeah, I won't forget
Netflix special.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
If you've watched an owl kill a lady on top of some stairs, you'll love this.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, thumbs up. And where will people be able to find your book?
It'll be it is on Amazon. And then, like I said, I'll be trying to push it into probably local, like indie bookstores first. And then if you know me, I'll probably have copies, so just flag me down.
Awesome. During a board game.
Yes, absolutely.
At the bottle shop.
Absolutely.
There'll be have you read my book?
Yeah.
Good sell.
If you haven't, why not?
Why not? Read it now. Read it in front of me. No pressure.
I take cash as well.
Kasey, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks.